Listen to the vibes.
The views and opinions of our guests may not necessarily reflect those of the host or the Vibes Broadcast Network. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. And I am very privileged to have Miss Coren Zai here with me. And we're going to have a great conversation, learn a little bit about her, and see what inspiring words she has for us. So, Corinne, if you'll just tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'd love to. Thank you very much, Kyle. Hi, everybody. I am a singer, songwriter, and a vocal coach. And I've been performing for 50 years. And I've been a vocal coach for 50 years. Yeah, and I know you guys are saying, oh my God, she looks way too young for that. Or not, but in my head, I do. So I've been teaching for 30 years and perform at the same time. I lived in Vegas for 30 years, but now I'm in NoHo, North Hollywood, crazy California, LA. And but I used to live in Austin, where Kyle is, and we were chatting earlier about that. Hey, love it, Austin City, live it. So I teach voice singers. I teach all kinds of singers, every genre except opera, and I teach beginners through pros, although the majority of my clients are people that want to be pro or are already pro. I've had students on America's Got Talent, on XFactor, on AGT. I've had a few get really close to American Idol, but didn't make it. I've had students on The Voice, and I have students on Broadway, film, television, recording industry. I even have a student that has a couple Grammys. Okay, well, I got to be very clear on that. She's a very good friend of mine. I've only taught her a few times. I'd like to say that I built her voice. I did not, but she gave me the privilege of working with her, and I'm blessed. I've also worked a couple of times with my dear friends, David Morgan and another gentleman who I'm not going to say who it is because he didn't give me permission, from Three Dog Night. And so, but I have all kinds of great students like that, and many, many students in Vegas and across the globe. I specialize in vocal therapy, aging voices, women going through menopause, and anybody that wants to be a star. And I'm also available for hire as a singer.
Well, you know, I was going to be
a
a famous rock singer, but they say you have to have talent first. So, you know.
You're incredibly talented.
Hey, I am the most awesome singer that I've ever heard in the shower.
Well, I'm going to tell you, some of them shower singers, that's where they started, and now they're making millions.
I'd probably scare off all the animals.
Well, maybe at first, but if you worked with me, I guarantee you may not get a Grammy, but you might get $1.50.
Hey, you know what? That's better than what I'm doing now, so I might take you up on that.
I got you, Kyle. I got you.
All right, so you're a singer-songwriter.
Singer-songwriter, yes.
Anything we know?
Unfortunately not. This is like really, I'm not gonna say stupid. I don't like to say I'm stupid, but this is not one of my best choices. I've helped so many people, because I teach songwriting also. Mm-hmm. I've helped so many people get their career started. We had a student, Erica Van Lee, who'd never written before. She was a beginner singer. She actually was the amazing Jonathan's production assistant, and she also assisted him on stage and Chris Angel on stage in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
Amazing young woman who is now touring all over the place. She's back in Australia, though, where she lives now, doing magic herself, because now she's a magician. But she took a couple of songwriting classes with myself and my husband and decided this is it. And she wrote an album, shot some music videos, and became pretty well known over in Europe, especially East Europe, and toured all of the ultra clubs over there performing. Wow. So Erica Van Lee was really well known over there. But I've helped a lot of people get their career started as songwriters or hone. Maybe they were singers and they didn't write their own material, learn how to write, and they were able to release their albums. And so I'm blessed that I've had that opportunity. However, I have a zillion songs that I have written. I perform them live a lot of times, and I have never recorded them.
Well, why not?
Because exactly, why not? Why haven't I done that? That is the question. That is the question. I was talking to my son the other day, and he's an amazing singer himself. And I said, my bucket list here, TikTok, we ain't playing TikTok. It's like, I would really like to at least release an EP before the end of time, end of days for me, So he said, well, let's do it, because he's a producer too. And so I said, cool, let's get started. So he's in the process of working on the beginning of this one song called Night Child that I wrote. And it was about, I left home at 15. Mm-hmm. And it was about what I experienced when I left home, because you don't know what you're doing at 15. So you end up making some really stupid decisions, like not having my own album, right?
Right.
And so he's starting to work on that, and I have my friends that are going to go in and put a little B3 on it and saxophone, and some cool stuff. So hopefully, probably about June of 2023, I'll have an EP ready to go, and it's like, hey, yay! So I will leave a recorded legacy. Yes. You guys go, oh my God, this woman is incredibly talented.
And you're going to give me the exclusive when the album gets ready to be
most
released,
definitely, right? Kyle. It's all yours, babe.
Sweet.
You will get the exclusive release.
Now, what's your favorite genre of music?
My favorite genre, I'm from Chicago, born and raised, but my dad is from Jackson County, Tennessee. And I told you before, he talks like this him. And so I was raised with him. I was raised on Porter Wagner and Dolly Parton, so bluegrass and old country. But I fell madly crazy in love with the blues. 1967, 68. Rock back then was actually the blues. Mm-hmm. When you say rock and roll, it was the blues. You had Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix. So I just fell in love with the blues. And I started singing in coffee houses at 15, with these old blues guys playing guitar and stuff. It was great. But I kind of always had a little bit of that country twang in me. It was just flavor, even though I'm a blues soul kind of singer. I just got put a little poppy stuff in, which never happens in the blues. You do that gospel, connected, big belty stuff. But I put sometimes a little poppy stuff in it, like you would that little yodel that you do in country, and it's fun. And people go, what? And I go, hey, I'm cool. You can't do that. You gotta be cool like me. I'll teach you how to do that. It's like, wow. Yeah. My teacher is Seth Riggs, who was Michael Jackson's teacher his whole life. He has 150 Grammy winners. Everybody from Stevie Wonder to Luther Vandross to Bonnie Raitt to Steven Tyler, go on, Waylon Jennings, right? One of the Outlaws. We were talking about Willie, right? Yeah. He's got all these AC/DC, lead singer for those dudes, Earth, Wind and Fire, So he said when he would go to Brandon, sorry, that's a student of mine, Branson, Missouri. When he would go to Branson, Missouri, oh my God. Okay, when he would go to Branson, Missouri, he would have to break everything he taught everybody else to do.
Really?
Yeah, because when you hear, think about it, when you hear rock, right, and these guys are singing, you don't hear a flip, you don't hear a yodel in it. You hear it sounds like one clean sound going from their low voice into their high voice. Think about Steven Tyler or the lead guy from AC/DC or
Ryan Johnson.
Right? Black Sabbath. I mean, come on, Ozzy. Dude can barely talk and walk, but boy can still sing his face off, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't hear a difference in it just one constant sound. It doesn't get lighter, quieter. It doesn't sound like there's a big voice on the bottom and a small voice on top. So that's what we teach, is that continuous sound all the way through. And I was a certified Seth Riggs teacher for 14 years, and that's cool. And but when you go to Branson, you have to teach people, and I sang this before, Blue Moon of Kentucky. You got a blue moon you have to be able to do that little yodel guy. And because that's bluegrass, that's country. It ain't country, it ain't got that flip. So he always said he had to break everything that he fixed when he went to Branson. So, and I do that with my country singers or traditional Hawaiian. I lived in Hawaii for 7 years, and you teach people to sing straight through, and then you teach them how to buff and pop it like that, like I just didn't do.
So you're still teaching,
Oh, yeah.
and we had this lockdown. Were you able to do that over Zoom?
Oh, because, well, think about Vegas. You have clients that are in Vegas for a limited time because they're in a show and then the show closes and then they leave. They don't want to leave their teacher. So I've literally been teaching online since Skype became a thing. So I've been teaching online for 14, 15 years. And before that, old school was speakerphone, right?
Oh, wow.
But, video phone, as long as Skype has been alive, I popped right on it because I'd have someone in a show in Vegas, and then their run would be over and they'd be going back to New York or wherever they were from, and they wanted to stay with me. So I'd say, well, you don't have to switch teachers. We'll just do it on Skype. So 40% of my clientele was on Skype.
Oh, wow.
Already. So however, we had already moved in 2019 in December. We'd already moved to LA. Unfortunately, my husband was very, very ill, and the medical in Vegas sucks. So we moved to LA so we could get some good medical here. And so I moved all of my Vegas clients, the other 60%, onto Skype or Zoom or whatever, at the time. FaceTime, one of my favorites. It's no muss, no fuss. You just press a button and call someone and hello, you're there. And it's pretty stable. So I was 100% online when the pandemic hit.
Wow.
And I had been for several months, but the bummer is my clientele, I'd say at least 50% of them were professionals. And then when everything shut down, 75% of these pros didn't have any money anymore because they weren't working. Entertainers aren't the best at budgeting. Most of them do not have a 401k, or whatever, an IRA account or whatever, so they're like, holy macaroni, I got to pay the rent next month. And a lot of them lived in New York City, and that was a lot of rent. So I lost, at least 50% of my clientele, of my professional clientele. So it was rough for a minute, but we figured it out. But I was already 100% online when it hit. So I kind of dodged that bullet.
And we were talking before the show. You had some kind of special thing going on you wanted to talk about?
Oh, yes, I do. I am going, well, okay, let me preface it by saying this. I have people come to me all the time saying, I want to audition for The Voice, or I want to audition for AGT, or I want to audition for American Idol. Unfortunately, XFactor isn't in this country anymore, but I've had people come to me and say, I want to go to England and audition for XFactor. I've had people on Super Idol in Taiwan and, different places around the world. So, and I'm like, okay, I'd be happy to help you get ready, but you have to understand it's a process, and not everybody is right for every show. Every show is aimed at a certain type of singer, and it's more than just, do you sound good or what do you look like? There's more to it than that, and so you have to understand, which show, what their parameters are, what they're actually looking for, and the back end, what do you have to do to make yourself appealing to them? Because it's television. It is not just singing. Although they say it's a singing competition, what is television about? It's revenue. They want to make money. Like if you have a venue, like if you're a musician and you're playing a club, you want people to pay the admission at the door to come in and see you, right? So that you can make $1.50, right? And if you're on TV, the people that are producing the show want people to tune in and watch the commercials and all that kind of stuff so they can get sponsors. Right. So there's a lot more to it than that. So I'm doing a workshop and it's on Zoom. So everybody all over the world can come. And it's on the 18th, which is a Sunday. It's 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Central time would be 1 p.m. Right?
1 p.m. No, we're an
2
hour.
p.m.
We're an hour
Yeah.
behind the Eastern time. So
yeah, so 2 p.m. And I figured out when I write it down and send it out. And so it's going to be really, really fun. And I'm going to explain to people exactly how it works. Each show, what show, if you want to get on, this is what they're looking for. I mean, I have a guy, my Rodney. I love my Rodney. He's been with me a long time. He was actually a building inspector in LA. He's now in his 70s, right? And he didn't even start playing music till he was 65.
Wow.
Right. And he learned, and he's right. And he said, I'm retired. I've got a good retirement. I'm just gonna do something I love. Right. So he started playing ukulele. And then in pure Rodney fashion, he decided, well, if I'm gonna play ukulele, I want to sing. So he found me and he started singing. And he's Hawaiian, right? And he's really Okinawan, but he was raised in Hawaii. His family immigrated to Hawaii. So he has this great first tenor voice. I mean, this dude is in his 70s and singing way, way crazy high, right? And he sounds great, but he kept auditioning for The Voice. And I kept saying, Rod, I don't want to throw, a hammer in the sprocket there, but babe, The Voice is pretty much for professional singers or people that have been singing their whole lives. If you go back and watch it now, guys, go back and watch, because you'll see it's not, there's nobody like American Idols, like ones, have you ever sung in front of anybody? Well, in my bedroom, right? But you'll never hear anybody on The Voice saying that, right? It's mostly for people that are pros. One year, Alicia Keys' backup singer won. Right? So you have to look at it, you have to read the room, basically. So he said, I want to do it. And I kept saying, Brad, I really think that The Voice is right for you. So he kept auditioning, and they kept sending him things saying, send us a video audition. But he never made it through because they're not looking for a 70-some-year-old dude to come on and sing ukulele songs. I kept saying to him, Brad, why don't you do America's Got Talent? I'm telling you, they love to support, senior citizens. And you got a great story, behind you. I'm not going to go into his story because it's his story, but he does. And you got to have a story. You got to have a story, people. You got to have a story. If you don't have a story that's going to get a tear, then they're like, next, So I said, and put a whole thing together. Don't you just sit there and play ukulele. Get your buddies that play ukulele with you, and they're all senior citizens because he plays with the senior citizens group. Have a bunch of senior citizen guys playing ukulele. You sing that traditional Hawaiian stuff. Never seen it on America's Got Talent. Get a couple of senior hula dancers, because there's some great senior hula dancers, and I guarantee you they will at least consider you, because it's different. You got the cute factor, right? You got the story. And you sing your face off. So they're in the process of putting that together. So I'll let you know when I do my exclusive with you for my EP, what happens when he does the audition. But I really think it's going to fly. I think he'll probably get through it, if they don't get through all the way, they'll get through a couple of cuts, because that's unique. And that's what Americans, you never know. I had students on AGT. Okay, they were called Alizma. Okay, they were gorgeous Polish girls, triplets, and they are triplets, stunning. So tall, long drinks of water with gorgeous long blonde hair, perfect faces, as literate in English as they were in Polish, played amazing violin and sang okay, right? And they were actually doing a gig in Miami, and these guys opened for Kenny Loggins and all these big acts and toured the world. And they did something that normally, and I'm not going to spill all the beans of the workshop, but they did something that normally someone at their caliber wouldn't have to do. They heard about, after their gig at the convention center, they heard about the AGT audition, and they said, it would be fun, let's just go. And it was a cattle call. And they just walked on, stood in line, got in, and got on the TV show.
Man, that's pretty cool.
Right. But I mean, you got to look. I mean, these girls, I'll send you pictures. These girls were hot. You guys, hot, and they were great musicians, and they sang good. I don't, by the time they did that, they'd only been with me for about 4 months. So we were just starting to get their voice together, but they really, they had great voices by the time we were through too. So, and there's a whole story that goes along with that I'll tell you guys in the workshop. But yeah, they got on the show and they got pretty far. I think they got in the top 15, if I'm not mistaken, or top 10, something like that.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
There's going to be someone out there that's watching this, or they're listening to this, and they may have some talent to them, but they're nervous. They don't have any confidence in themselves. But I've always said, just go out and try. What kind of advice do you have for that person who, in the back of their head, they might think, well, I'm a decent singer, but they don't have the go get you attitude.
Okay. Now this is what my husband taught. Okay. It's not what I teach. I try to channel him when people ask me that question, because he was a brilliant acting coach and a brilliant vocal performance coach. Okay. And this is what he would say. And so I'm gonna use it on you, Kyle, all right?
Okay.
Did you know your name when you were born?
No.
You did not.
No.
How come?
Did not have the perception of what a name was.
Right. So as you grew, people kept calling you Kyle, right?
No.
And they didn't call you Kyle?
No.
They called you Fred?
No, they called me Coyote.
Coyote?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, okay. So your perception was Coyote. All right. Sorry. I love animals. All right. So they called you Coyote. All right. So as you grew and they called you Coyote, maybe like chocolate milk, didn't like regular milk. Coyote liked warm weather, not cold weather. Coyote liked to play baseball, not football. I'm just making stuff up. What do I know? So you built who Coyote is, right?
Mm-hmm.
In your mind, you built who it was by stuff you decided that you liked and didn't like.
Right.
Okay, now my husband would say this, my brilliant Coren Zai, he would say, congratulations, you're a brilliant actor. That's your first character. You built who Coyote is by all of your senses, stuff you've seen, stuff you've heard, stuff you've felt, stuff you've tasted, stuff you smelled. So fear, stage fright, is just an acting job. It's a thought that you're afraid. Before you go on stage, you're thinking, oh my God, I'm so scared. Oh, what if I can't hit the high note? Oh, what if my voice breaks? What if they don't like me? What if I fall down? What if I sneeze? All these things are going through your head, right? And you're creating this character that all these horrible things happen to. And your brain doesn't know the difference between what you want and what you don't want. It only knows what you tell it. So if you're telling it that it's going to be a disaster, your brain goes, oh, you want it to be a disaster? No problem. I got you. I can make this happen. And you go out and you go, only you, right? Because you just said, I don't know if I can hit that high note. Okay. So what do you want to do? How do you fix it? You fix it by visualizing a new character. You can even give it a new name. It doesn't have to be Coyote. It could be George. And George is the best singer in the world. George has 1,000 Grammys or CMA awards. And George can sing anything. And George is on the Grand Ole Opry stage. And he hears the crowd. And he smells the coffee. And he sees all these famous people around. And he feels the excitement. And go. So you just built a character that supports your singing. Did that answer the question?
Hey, sounds good to me.
It
That's
works. It
that's
works.
a different perspective for sure.
It's a lot of work, and it can work in an instant if you commit yourself to it 100%. However, everything has a neural pathway. What does that mean? Everything we thought, felt, taste, touched, sung, spoken is a little groove in our brain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if our fear groove's really deep, right, then that's going to be your dominant groove. Right.
Mm-hmm.
If your confidence groove is real deep, it's going to be your dominant groove. So you have to build that confidence groove.
Right.
And then you can access that. And part of what I'm going to talk about is when is it time to audition for the show? People just want to go do it. And maybe they just want to do it for the experience. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you seriously want to get on the show, don't delude yourself and make sure you look at it as a business, because that's your career, right? So you want it to be you want to put yourself in a situation when they see you, they're going, "Holy," they're not going next, because they're seeing thousands of people.
Right. Well, like with me, when I got started doing this, at first it was a goof. It was just to be doing it. And I was doing nothing but paranormal stuff anyway, but it was just, just to have fun. And then as time went on, and some of the new people that I was meeting, and the I started a different show past the paranormal, which was this positivity show, and I took it a lot more serious. And I still goof from time to time, but for the most part, I feel more confident because I've done it so many times. I have 500 videos. 500 videos.
And that's that neural pathway,
Mm-hmm.
right? You've done it enough to where you're so confident in this that Coyote, as this famous blogger, right, is so experienced. You go right to that. You don't go to the, oh, what do I say? How do I handle it? What am I? None of that's even in there. It's just like, I got this. You know all the pieces, parts of it, and you're completely confident.
I've struggled with stuttering just about all my life, and even though I still stutter, I'm nowhere like where I used to be, and it doesn't bother me. It doesn't. People
you sound great.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. People can look past it, or they can focus on it. I choose not to focus on it.
Well, exactly, because your opinion of me is none of my business. It's like everybody's got an opinion. I'm not going to quote Kurt Vonnegut, but there's a great quote if you ever read Kurt Vonnegut, but in there about opinions. Everybody's got one,
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's not going to love you. There's people that are going to absolutely love you. There are people that are going to absolutely hate you, and there are people that are going to go, meh, I couldn't care less one way or the other. You can't attach to any of it. You just got to be okay with you.
That's right.
And then if you're okay with you, then there's going to be those people that love you, that are your flavor. If people don't like crazy old ladies, right, they're not going to like me. Some people are freaked out by old people, right? Now, I'm not your typical old person, but we can tell, I'm kind of cool, and I'm kind of like up to date on most stuff, and I got a big mouth. So and the tea I drink is yerba mate, so it's cool tea. Oh, can I do that? I don't know.
Fine. It was so fast, okay. I don't think anybody knows.
Okay. I didn't get paid for that. So I'm just not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Some people hate the blues. I'll tell you a real quick story on that, people.
Sure.
And this will really help you. Anybody that's feeling like, what if they don't like me? Okay, I did this great show. I had some of the best musicians in Vegas. All right. It was a showcase. I put this new band together. It's called Lorraine. I invited all these agents and producers and stuff to see it, because you're always looking for work, right? And I had Billy Preston's sax player. I had some great, the drummer played with Big Mama Thornton and all these great famous, he was a kid when he did it, but he played with her. I mean, these guys were great. The keyboard player played with the Righteous Brothers for years. Okay. And Gino Vanelli. I mean, just absolutely brilliant players. And I had all these agents and everything. And I had some friends there. So after the show, I went over to my friend Audrey and her friend Pat. And I said, so how did you like it? And Audrey said, girl, you were on fire. Right. And Pat said, it was okay. And I went,
a little
all
deflating.
right. I said, okay, well, thank you. She said, to be honest with you, I really didn't like it. And in the back of my head, I was like, well, you could have kept that to yourself, but all right. So of course that to me was intriguing. I said, well, what didn't you like about it? Because I'm thinking, well, maybe she like saxes, maybe, She said, well, the music was too loud. You were singing too loud. You were like all over the stage. You even came down into the audience. It was odd. And now to preface it, she was on the board of the Jazz Society. Okay. Which I always say blues is jazz's ugly stepsister, right. So we kept going at it. And finally, because as a teacher, you always get it down to the nth degree. Right. And she said, well, to be perfectly honest with you, Corinne, I don't like vocal music at all. I only like instrumentals.
Okay.
So then I went, well, you were going to hate anything I did. And she said, well, yeah. I said, well, thank you for your honesty. And then I went, well, it wasn't me.
Right.
So, I mean, her opinion was none of my business, but I wanted to make it my business because I wanted to see what she didn't like about it so I could fix it. And as it turned out, there's no way I could fix the fact that she didn't like singers.
Right.
She just likes instrumental jazz. That's all she liked. So, and it wasn't my job to fix it. So it's like, go for it, babe. Go listen to your instrumental jazz, which makes me go, oh, sorry. Well,
look at it this way. If somebody goes to a Metallica concert and they come out and play Britney Spears, they're not going to like it.
No.
Right. But even though I don't care for Britney Spears, she's still got talent and she could sing and she's great for her genre, but it's not going to fly at a Metallica concert.
Absolutely not.
If you played some of her music maybe at a, I don't know, NSYNC show or something, you might get a good reception for it. But
yeah, pop is pop. And,
right.
and hard rock's hard rock, and the fans do not generally coexist, just like her liking instrumental music and me being a crazy blues woman, just did not work at all for her, but it worked for me when I found out, whoo, it ain't me. She just likes that boring music.
I think anybody that's trying to get into the business, you have to also know who your audience is. That's going to make a difference in how it goes, right?
So important. So important. I have another story about that.
Oh,
many years ago, I'll never forget this. There was this club in Vegas called Calamity Jane's. All right. Now, before my husband became a musician, he was a magician, right? And we toured all over the world doing magic. And he was actually the human target, which is so politically incorrect today, but he stopped a 22 caliber bullet in a steel plate this now. Nobody ever got hurt when he did it, thank God. So at any rate, we were going to try out some new stuff. So we knew Calamity Jane, who owned this club, and she said, come on and do it here. So we said, cool. So we'll do a little music and we'll do a little magic, because it was primarily a music club. So she said, we'll come in on a jazz night. I said, excellent. Perfect for the magic, because it was mental magic, right? And the mind reading stuff. So we went in and we played a little bit of, I did some jazz standards, cigarette holder, he moves me over. And, it's like, and people were kind of looking at me weird, but I'm like, I don't know, maybe they need another drink. So my husband starts doing the mentalism, and it's like, okay, well, here, I've written down here, what you're going to pick. Here, you keep it, put an envelope in your pocket. Don't let me see it. I don't know you, blah, 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 blah. And then he pulls someone from the audience and says, okay, take this, pick a book, and she picks a book. There's like 6 books, and picks a specific random book, and people gave him numbers, and he added it up, and it says, okay, go to page 47, and she goes to 47, and it says, go to paragraph 4, and she goes to paragraph 4. Go to word 6, go to word 6, go to syllable 3, and she goes, what's a syllable? And we're looking around, and we're looking at each other, what the hell? And people are like, I want another beer, Harold. We were there on country night. It was not jazz night at all. Wrong audience. This poor girl had no idea what a syllable was. It was terrifying. Needless to say, he had to really tap dance to get that one out. And afterwards, we got the. We were like, can we please crawl out of here with our tail between our legs? Because we just totally crashed that one. It was terrible. I wanted to kill Calamity. She said, I'm sorry. I thought it was supposed to be jazz night. It's like, it's your club. Yeah, but I don't do the booking. I don't do the calendar. It's like, oh, woman. You
should still know what's going on at your club.
Thank you. Thank you. Needless to say, didn't have the club very long. But yeah, that one was woo. That was embarrassing, let me tell you.
You deal with children that are going through changes in their life, going from a child to a teen, I assume. Change in voice. You also deal with women who are going through their changes in life.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how you go about doing that.
Okay, well, I'm one of the few teachers, vocal coaches that specializes in women going through what I call puberty backwards. I've worked with a lot of boys and girls going through puberty, and as we all know, the voice changes. Some of you guys might not know that girls' voices change also, but the difference between a little girl's voice changing when she goes through puberty, she still goes from her low voice to her high voice on the same notes. It doesn't change. It's just more challenging for her to do that. So I have to go in and teach her how to deal with that change in her voice. Because don't think I said this at the beginning of the broadcast, but I'm a vocal technique coach. What does that mean? It means I teach you how to play your vocal instrument, and how to be healthy, and how to have more range, more power, and more flexibility, and be able to do all that cool stuff you want to do, and stay healthy. Number one most important thing. So boys when they go through puberty, they go down 5 notes where they switch. So it's much more challenging for them because it's a completely different instrument. Most girls will still stay a soprano, maybe a mezzo soprano if they're not a first soprano, but a boy will go down from a soprano to a tenor, a baritone, or a bass. Bass and baritone, very rare, but they'll go down to a tenor. It's still a big deal. Okay. But what happens when women go through menopause? Well, ladies, been there, done that, and gigged through the whole thing. And I was a Barbra Streisand tribute artist at the time. Can you tell? I look a little bit like her. And her music is really challenging to sing. Okay. And so here I am singing her stuff, and all of a sudden my voice is not behaving correctly. Well, what does that mean? I go for the high notes, and it just feels like I go for the note, and I can't grab a hold of it, or it's too heavy for me to hit the high notes. So I had to figure out. Now, I was already a voice teacher at the time, so thank God for that. And I was already specialized in vocal therapy, which means helping people heal post-surgery, or if they have an injured voice, or they have nodules, or a paresis or dysphonia, which is a paralyzation of the vocal fold or vocal cord. So I was able to figure out what to do. But when I looked around and tried to find a voice teacher that could help me with it, I mean, my teacher could have, but at the time he was traveling the world, it was really hard to get a hold of him and get in to see him. So I just figured out myself, because that would help other people. So I chose to start helping women that are going through the same thing. They're out there gigging, or they're singing in church, or in some choir or they just want to sound good singing happy birthday, and they're mortified when their voice is all over the place. I started helping them, and have had incredible results, especially for the females that are pros, that are going through it, and they're paying the mortgage or the rent and buying food to feed their kids, and their voice just has a whole nother idea of what it's going to do. And I've helped them through that. Also, the same thing goes for pregnant women, because pregnant women, their hormones are like all over the place.
Yeah.
And
true.
and it's very, very similar to menopause and perimenopause. So I am going to be doing on let me make sure I have this date right, the 25th at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, 2 p.m. Central time. I'm going to be doing a workshop on women going through menopause, and see if I can help some of you guys with that, because inquiring minds want to know how you do it.
Let me ask you something, because I'm not a great singer. I'm decent, I guess, but I love to sing. You could take someone like me and make me a better singer.
You are good at this, Coyote. You are really good at this. All right. Anybody can sing. Anybody can sing. I'm gonna take all the mystery out of it. Okay. Now, number one, everybody wants to feel special, right? Everybody on the planet wants to feel special. In some way, you want to feel different and special, and like you're honored in some way by other people. So singers are probably right at the top of the list, or the worst of that, besides guitar players, which are absolutely the worst. They don't want you to know. And a lot of them think too that you're born with it or you're not. Okay. Now, yes, there are those people like a Whitney Houston or a Luther Vandross, right? Or, an Aretha Franklin that are born with this instrument, Freddie Mercury, right? That are born with this instrument. Well, Reba McEntire. Although I know her voice teacher very well, were they born with this instrument? They were born with an amazing instrument, right? However, that doesn't mean that they're the only ones that can sing. All it means is that they're born with an instrument that is less challenging for them to sing from the low notes through to the high notes. Okay, because all we're talking about, I'm going to break this down into something so simple. You guys are going to go like, duh, could have had a V8, right? There's three things I'm looking at when I'm working with a singer. One is air. Sound is vibrating air, period. If you ain't got air, you got issues, right? And most people are holding their breath when they sing. Consonants are air regulators. Everybody out there go. You're not going to feel any air come out. Now go, he. You're going to feel tons of air. That H has lots of air blowing through. That G is a glottal stop. It stops the airflow. All right. Now, vowels determine direction of airflow. O or goes straight out the mouth. E goes straight up. So we want to have everything feel like E. So we got to have air, not only air flowing, it's got to go in the right direction. Okay. Number two, your tongue. There's two sets of muscles in the throat, the swallowing muscles and the vocal cords. When we sing, we just want to access the vocal cord muscles. The vocal cords are tendons. They don't move by themselves, right? There's hundreds of microscopic muscles making them move. Okay. So what we do is go in and program in these muscles to coordinate correctly to be able to sing smoothly from the lowest note to the highest note. The third part that I look at, and this is like weird, my teacher and every other voice teacher in the world probably kill me for saying this, but I have my own name for it. It's the mix or the compression, and I call it the squeaky dude. So if everybody goes, like you ate something you liked, that's good, that's a squeaky dude, right? Those are the three components I look at that I'm manipulating. Everybody can do it. All we're talking about is muscle memory and muscle strength. And then you have two basic registers, your chest voice, which is what you speak in, like, hey, hi, my name's Coren, or your head voice, hi, my name's Coren. And those are the only two registers, but we take and mix those two together and blend them to create this middle. So those of you out there that have ever done a mixing board or have ever like gotten into sound real good, like, you know, on a, I'm going to say stereo, I just dated myself, but I already told you all it was. All right. You know, you have your bass and your treble, right? And then you have your mids. So your chest is your bass, your treble is your head voice. And when you mix and blend them and you need that squeak to do it, you just created your mids.
If I wasn't as broke as the Ten Commandments, I'd say, I'm going to pay you to teach me how to sing.
Well, guess what? Now you're in trouble because now you got to take a lesson with me for free.
Ooh, thank you.
You're welcome. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a ball. But there's just one rule I have when you have a lesson with me.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be ready and willing to laugh a lot.
I can do that.
Excellent, because you can't take it serious. Because again, this ain't digging ditches. This is having fun. Singing is having fun, you know.
And I love to laugh, so you'll get plenty of that.
We've been giggling quite a bit today.
Do you have a website?
I do. It's www.d as in dog, W as in water, star, like twinkle twinkle, like a star in the sky, tracks, TRAX as in x-ray.com. Like the tracks, like a soundtracks, but not CKSX. So dwstartracks.com.
What about social media?
I have Dreamweaver's Star Trek's Vocal Academy on Facebook, and I have to remember my Instagram. I don't remember my Instagram. I think it's Dreamweavers _ Star Treks. It is.
Well, I want to put those links up in the description so people can click on it and go to it. And you said you have an event coming up on the 18th of this month?
I do. That is the How to Get On a Singing Competition show.
Right.
Workshop. And I wish I had a catchier title, but my husband was always the one that came up with the cool titles. And I've been racking my creative brain, my songwriting brain, trying to come up with something cool. But, you know, I haven't come up with it. So it's just How to Get On a TV Singing Competition show workshop. I guess that explains the whole thing. It ain't hooky, but it's honest and straightforward and in your face.
Well, someone out there is either watching this, listening to this, and they're going to want to, you know, they want to be famous, or they just want to get out there and just sing. Maybe it's just for church or whatever. You know, go to her website, sign up and get a class. You know, don't you go on Facebook every once in a while and do lives?
I'm on Facebook all the time. Yes, most definitely. Facebook.
You do live stuff on Facebook though, right?
You know, I used to do it all the time. I'm starting back again. I kind of had, you know, because I don't know whether I should bring this up. My husband passed away from ALS in February. So ALS awareness, people, bug the FDA to pass the neuron stem cell treatment because it works. He'd still be here if that had been passed 3 years ago, but not yet. But anyway, had to say that. So I'm having to reinvent everything because it was Dreamweaver Star Trek's Performing Arts Academy, because we had acting and filmmaking and, you know, but I don't teach any of that. So I have Vocal Academy now, and so I'm reinventing. I had to get all the bones and everything together. I have a couple amazing women that are going in with me. My friend Alicia Morgan, who has played with everybody from the Monkees to Al Green. You know, she taught at Musicians Institute. She taught at Los Angeles School of Songwriting. She's actually getting her degree in opera, you know, at Northridge right now. And so in the spring, she's going to have her degree, and she's coming in with me, and we're actually going to get a brick and mortar here in LA. And then Francesca is an amazing performance coach. And both of them are with the Scorch Sisters, who are the #1 blues band in Southern California. And they both perform all over the place with all these other bands. And they're just amazing singers and songwriters and players. And they're going to come in with me, and we're going to open up this amazing vocal academy with a brick and mortar. Right now, everything I have is online, but I had to get the pieces parts together. And just now I'm starting that. So starting next week, I will have lots of videos on there. Not to mention I had to lose 10 pounds because I didn't like how I looked on video. But ladies, you get it, right? You get it? You're like, I had to get this together.
Yeah, I got to work on that too. I'm supposed to be in a movie next year, so I want to look my trimmest and my sexy.
Hey, Odie, you look great, man. You look great. See, oh, ladies, we just look tired. You guys look all classy and cool and handsome when you get older.
Well,
we just look like we need a facelift.
You just need to go get your eyes checked again. That's what it is.
I know. I got good glasses on. This is UCLA, baby. UCLA.
Well, I was saying a while ago, whatever it may be, maybe you're trying to get on a talent show, become a professional. You want to do it for your church, or you just want to do it for your family. Get on the website and sign up for some lessons and go for it.
Can I say this?
Sure.
Anybody who says that they saw this on Coyote Show, I will give you a free 30-minute lesson.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, I'm going to put that in the description as well then.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Coren, for coming on. You've been such a joy.
Thank you, Coyote. I had so much fun. And I'm going to tell everybody how fun you are to play with. And hopefully I'll be able to get down to Austin soon and visit my own home and come meet you in person.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
And hit me up, or I'm going to hit you up so we can schedule the lesson.
Oh, you got it.
Okay.
It's a date. It's a date. I also want to thank all of you out there. If you came by this channel, this is your first time, I appreciate you stopping by. I hope you'll come back. Please subscribe. For those of you who are regular, thank you for your support. It's because of you that I get to do this. And, we've got a lot of great things coming up. My schedule has just booked up like crazy. And there's going to be somebody on there that can help you in some way. And so until the next one, please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless and peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network